Okay, we're recording. Hello everybody, and welcome to this conversation which I've been looking forward to for ages, since I discovered this woman. As you know, these sessions are about soul and style and fashion and adornment and slow fashion and circular living, and really how we can find different ways of kind of plugging our attention into different ways of buying, different ways of using adornment as an art form rather than something that is just off the shelf and doesn't really resonate with our soul. So when I found this woman's work, I was just completely drawn in and excited by everything she's bringing. It's so inspiring to see somebody bring her artistry through into textiles and clothing. So this woman is Diane Goldie, and her work is, well, I'll let her explain her work, but she's an artist, and she's really bridging that space from textiles and clothing and really projecting these messages and, yeah, your essence, your soul essence through the medium of clothing and textiles. It's just so profound. So welcome, Diane. I'm so happy to have you here to have this chat and to riff about feminism and all the different things that come into your work. So really, like, one of the main things that drew me in, like I've just explained, is that my work is really allowing the dismantling of the fast fashion world to kind of drop out and release. So when I work with some of my clients in like a stylist setting, really I'm kind of bringing them into this relationship with themselves, with their bodies and with their soul and what they are craving as a sense of style, so that they can translate that into their outer clothing pieces. So I'm kind of like the stage before they get to you. I'm like just bringing them into contact with that, because I think it's such a big piece. I'd love to hear about how you began this journey with this work, and kind of what it means for you.
I'm 56, almost 57, and I suppose I began this journey was when I was around 17 or 18, strangely enough. I've got to go back quite a few years. But it was that exploration of identity when it comes to how you dress. What does what I wear say about me? And it's only sort of sitting in this space of looking back now, I can really understand what I was doing with my clothes. Because when I was about 13, I was groomed by a much older man. I thought he was my boyfriend at the time. And then that something deep down in me said, I've got to keep men away. So what I started doing was I started really being courageous, I suppose, but I was kind of wearing like boiler suits and then embroidering big butterflies on the back, and then I paint my face with a butterfly on the front. So it was kind of like, if you need to get to know me, you've got to get through this mask. You've got to get through, discover who I am. It was a kind of, now I get what it was. It was a way of protecting myself from the male gaze, basically. And I remember when I was about 17 or 18, I went down, I used to dance at the local pub that had a little outside bit next to the sea. It was really beautiful. And I decided to do this little experiment. I don't know what made me do it, but I dressed up in my mother's clothes, which were like a beige pleated skirt and a beige sort of blousey thing, high heels, and sort of went down and went to dance. And literally it was like a swarm of men around me. And I just hightailed and ran back home crying. Because it was like, yeah, that's it. That's what it is. This is what these clothes are giving me, this kind of armor. But as I've got older now, it's almost like the opposite now. It's a case of I'm using clothes, I suppose, as a menopausal woman who's meant to be invisible, of being highly visible, because I can now walk into a bar and stand at a bar and everybody else will get served. And it doesn't matter how brightly I'm dressed or how large I am, taking up how much space, I'll be the last to get served. And I think it's to do with that fuckability factor, right? It's like, and it's very deeply ingrained into people that they don't realize they're doing it. So I suppose my way of sort of being quite out there with the way I draw, although today I'm wearing black and white polka dots. I mean, you can't write this. When I go out, generally, I'll wear a kimono, and I'm pretty visible. But even so, it's still quite hard to be visible when you're a menopausal woman. Although I did notice the reaction I now get from men is totally different, right? Rather than, you know, wolf whistles or just walking past, people will stop me and kind of go, oh, turn around, have a look, let's have a look at you, you look great, and kind of high five. Or sometimes I've had even this response from people, which is very odd. They kind of almost see that kind of goddess aspect, I suppose. I must say that this response came from very drunk men. Yeah. But you know, very drunk men, kind of like do this and kind of like feel my aura, kind of, and then do this, you know. But that's not the usual response you get from street drinkers, is it? So it's an interesting experiment. And also the way I like to dress right now is I'm absolutely on comfort. If I don't feel comfortable in my clothes, I'm not comfortable with who I am. So therefore, if I feel comfortable, I can be comfortable. If I'm all sucked in and pinched in and I can feel this is hurting and this is hurting, or my feet are hurting, then I'm kind of walking around with pain, and that's not a very nice thing to do. So I go for comfort first, but I make sure the comfort looks good. I like to feel, I think I'm a little bit aspy. I think I'm quite a lot aspy, actually. And I really like that kind of swishy thing. I like the feeling of the swish against my legs, or the sort of floaty feel. I like the sensation of clothing. For me, that's a really beautiful thing. And so I go for feeling often more than sight. I've gone on a tangent. This is typical me.
No, I love what you picked up on there. If I can just say that I love that you picked up on the way that we are in a system within fashion and style where we are governed by a system or a projection, a broadcast that is pleasing to the male gaze. We might call it the patriarchy, but and so from a very young age we're indoctrinated into that system of what is okay and what isn't okay, and we formulate those beliefs within our mind of what is safe and what isn't. And I think when we come to midlife, because I'm in my 40s, there is the invisible factor. Marianne Woodman talks about trying to hail down a taxi when she turns 40. She's a Jungian kind of writer, and she talks about, like, in New York, like putting her arm out and standing there for an hour, realizing that, oh, I'm invisible now to everyone, and realizing that was the kind of death of the maiden self almost, so she could then be reborn into the inner bloom could begin to take place. And so from the outside, you know, she was invisible. And I think that quality of understanding that the inner maiden, or the maiden outside, that is the projection that we see as beauty. Yeah. But knowing that it's an optimal beauty standard that we cannot keep up with, and what is beauty? You know, what is beauty?
Yeah. And it is that cliche, isn't it, that beauty comes from within. But the weirdest thing is, when I was at my most beautiful when I was young, for society standards, I felt the ugliest. I felt like I wasn't enough. I could never get it right. Didn't matter how. When I look at this is a typical thing, isn't it? When you look at photographs of yourself as a young girl, you go, my God, I was gorgeous. But then you project yourself back into that mindset and you go, but I felt disgusting. I felt like I was sidelined because of the way I looked. I felt like I couldn't belong because of the way I looked. I felt like I couldn't be loved because of the way I looked. And now, when I'm now postmenopausal, I feel the most beautiful I've ever felt. Possibly not the most societal beauty what society expects, but I got to the point where I've managed to break through that barrier somehow, and I really don't care what other people think anymore. And that is such freedom. And that's when you really feel good in your skin. I mean, and I'm a large woman, right? I'm a size 20. And I reframe that as taking up space. Like, I take up space and I'm good to squish. I'm good to hug. You know, I've got 2 grandchildren and they'd hate it if I lost a lot of weight because I'd be all skin and bone, and that's not nice to touch. You know, it's like grandmas should be a bit squishy, you know.
Yeah.
Nice pillows to put your head on and stuff, you know. So there's ways of looking at the perceived negative things as positive.
Yes.
You know.
And it's our power, isn't it? It's actually our
power to take that back. Yeah, absolutely. So that, I think that's why I like to wear clothes that what I call my daytime pajamas. I like to wear clothes that I feel like they're flowing on me and they're comfortable on me, and they're not. I'm not trying to stay with the hourglass thing, because I think that is just such a it really is a restricting kind of corset, literal corset on the way we should kind of walk through the world. Why are we trying to stay in that maiden stage when we're in our crone stage?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, let the grays come through. Exactly. I mean, I'm blonde on the end because my daughter got bored and said, "Mum, can I do your hair for you?" So I went, "Well, I'm really quite enjoying my greys," but she said, "Oh, maybe it'll match up." So I let her. So this was just play, as I'm just letting it all grow out now. It's broken off.
It's a mind. It's a mind construct, isn't it? Like the hourglass, what it should, what our bodies should look like, how they should fit into things, and that is the dismantling. It starts within the body, doesn't it? How we love our bodies.
That's right. And even with the sort of plus size movement, have you noticed that the only acceptable plus size people in the fashion industry are the hourglass ones?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, most plus size women, I might make a kind of a bit of a sweeping generalization here, but I think most plus size women will more relate to the apple shape rather than the hourglass shape.
Well, in my work, I actually tell clients that I don't prescribe to any of those body shape analysis things that we have fixated, because actually we're not banana, we're not, every single one of us has our own assets, our own beauty. I think of the body like a sculpture, and it's like, you know, we are made in our own unique way, and so our bodies are to be tended to from that lens of I am just me, and actually the shops aren't catching up with my shape, rather than it being the other way around. I'm not fitting into them.
Exactly.
But I wanted to just bring it back into
back to my work.
Yeah.
I'm trying to get there. I should have warned you before I can go off.
So you're insanely amazing. Oh my gosh. Like when I saw your artwork, I was like, what? And then I just scrolled through and I was like, there's more and there's more and there's more.
Because I'm prolific, absolutely prolific. When I say I'm a bit aspy, that this is my obsession, right? But I've only been doing it for 7 years. Yeah, I know, because I was always told.
Describe one of your pieces, like what, you know, for anybody watching that hasn't seen your work, what do they look like? What flavors are in there? Oh yeah, go and get one. Yeah.
You might have to just look at an empty seat for a second.
Yeah, that's okay. Oh, I'm excited.
Oh Lord.
Is that one of your pieces behind you? Is that your artwork?
That's one of my paintings and sculptures and things. I've got 2 just for good luck, because I don't know again. This is one of the first ones I made for myself.
Wow.
And it's a feminist piece. And it is it's Frida Kahlo, but as Medusa, because you know, Frida Kahlo, poor Frida, she's become such a cliche right now, but
I know.
I mean, I've always identified with her because of you know, this woman who slough off all conventions, you know, she really walked her own path. Whether it was the body hair, whether it was the cross-dressing, whether it was just literally just being an artist, despite whatever, and despite such terrible things that got in her way, and her disability, and painting flat on her back in the bed. I mean, it's all totally inspirational, right? So I was totally a Frida Kahlo, but I mean, I will generally not do pictures of her with a monobrow, because I think that became such a cliche that I'll use pictures of her where she clearly has not got a monobrow. And this one says, okay, I'll talk through it. This, so it's a big kimono, it has massive sleeves, big ones, but they've got roses on the front. This is the back of it. And this was all inspired by an Eartha Kitt video I watched on YouTube. And where she's being interviewed in the 70s by this male journalist, and he's trying to make out that she's some kind of sociopath because she's chosen her own path as a woman. And the questions were so pointed and so trying to trap her into sort of saying, well, yes, I'm a selfish bitch, basically. And he was saying to her, but what about compromise? Shouldn't you compromise in relationships? And she has this moment where she just throws back her head and she laughs, this big throaty laugh, and she went, compromise? For what? For what do I compromise? Oh, it's honestly, just look up Eartha Kitt compromise. Oh my God. I'm gonna see it's the most inspirational video you will ever watch. I watch it over and over and over and over again.
Wow.
And I just saw this woman who was so in her power that she was absolutely indefeatable. She was just glowing, and this, you could see this man just withering and sort of like getting smaller and smaller and smaller, and she was just growing and growing and growing in her power. And there's this phrase that just popped into my head, because part of my work is words. I get words and sayings and things just come to me, and I just said, it's on here, a woman who loves herself is a dangerous woman.
Oh yes.
Right? And because I thought I've got goosebumps now. This always
me too.
Yeah. Because when a woman finds her worth, that she's now in charge of the world. Yeah. Because she has been groomed to be the subservient one. So and then, you know, rape is a tool of keeping that tamped down, right? So once she finds her worth, despite whatever's been thrown at her, she's now indestructible. Now she can do anything she wants. But also she can take down patriarchy, and that's why, you know. But then I also the other phrase that came with that was sisterhood is subversive, because that's the other phrase that's at the bottom of this bottom, sisterhood is subversive. Because for me, it's subversive as in it will take down patriarchy. That we are taught from a very, very young age, and it's reinforced through media and entertainment and all of that a woman is a bitch, and she's a natural bitch, and that she should attack her sister. And it's when women come together.
That's just the witch distorted, though, isn't it? We're all witches, but they bitch is a very similar word.
And so if we refuse to follow that instruction, because that is clearly an instruction that is meant to hold us back, if we then bond with our sisters and we treat them as humans, not as humans who have faults, but also, you know, we forgive those faults because we're all humans. So instead of going, oh, you must be bitchy and I can't have female friends because they're all bitches, how many times do we hear that?
Oh God, so many.
How many times do we hear that construct, which is so not true? A woman who has good sister friends, she's unstoppable. She's unstoppable. So that's what that piece was about. And it's, I call it my witch piece, because whenever I wear this, I pick up sisters.
Oh God, I bet.
Everywhere I go, it's like I will find another sister to come and be in the sisterhood. And I'm not anti-men, not at all.
No, and this is the work.
Just like, you know, they say you can be pro-black and not racist, right?
Yeah, exactly.
As a black person, it's like you can be pro-woman and not anti-men. And this one, this is a very large, tall one. I don't know how I'm going to show this, but
Oh, they're so tall. And how have you printed it, or how do you actually get the? Is it printed?
This is the, oh, okay. Oh, if you can see the bottom of it.
Oh my God, that's amazing. Who's that?
This is my friend Lois. Monias Artist Muse on Instagram. Yeah. She's my sister friend. She's my wifey. She's my everything. We always joke that if we weren't straight, we'd be married. I mean, it's just like.
I had a massage with her.
We are so close.
Yesterday. I had a healing session with her yesterday.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, this is insane.
I know.
Now you know, right?
I know. She's very special.
Now you know what I'm talking about with her, right? So when we're together, it's just pure bliss. We just laugh and we always cry. We always cry. We laugh and we cry and we shout and we scream and we have such a good time together. So she's one of my biggest muses that I use all the time, and that's her on the back of that one as a sun goddess.
Wow.
Ra, but in female form. I don't even know if that exists, but I'm inventing it.
Yeah.
Because why not? She is a ray of sunshine.
Oh, she is. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. So where was I? I got all distracted now thinking of Lois. That's terrible.
I know, sorry, I just threw that into the mix.
yeah, she's an amazing woman. And
so what's the symbiology within the pieces? Like, so there's obviously messages that you're pulling through.
Messages that come through, and the thing is that I never sit down and plan anything. Right. I don't go, right, today I'm going to do a thing about this. It comes as I start. I generally am drawn towards a fabric, and I never question it. Yeah. I have so much fabric in my studio, and I just kind of go towards it, and I go, okay, what is this going to create? And I just let it tell its story.
Wow.
And there's normally a message that comes from somewhere else, and the way I work is in combination with spirit, because I literally, it's my spiritual practice, because I empty my head when I work. I have no thought. And so that's why I hashtag made in presence, because that's how it works. I empty my brain, and then things come through. My hands just become the facilitators. I'm not actually in charge. And I say that because I've come to realize that it's as mysterious to me as it is to other people how it all happens, because I don't know if with any kind of artistic practice, or even sport, people talk about getting into the zone. And when you're in the zone or in the flow, you are not aware of actually doing it. It happens. It just happens. And it kind of like you wake up and it's done. Yeah. And when I was back at art school many moons ago, I paint like that as well. I would sit down in front of people with a bag of oil paints, and I used to paint with my fingers with oil paints. So dangerous. Don't do it, folks.
Wow.
In oil paint, it goes into your skin and makes you crazy. No. I'm not crazy because of that.
Yeah.
I'm not crazy. I'm actually not crazy. I'm very sane. But I stopped doing that because it was very dangerous.
Yeah.
But I used to paint very fast with a different color on each finger, so it was kind of like, and then 20 minutes later it would be done, and I'd wake up and go, oh, that was an experience.
Wow.
And if when I sew very fast. People go, how do you do it? In fact, I've heard people come to me and say, we had a conversation about you last night. We were all trying to work out how you have this input. Do you have a factory of pixies? What would you do? I just do it until it's finished, and I don't stop, and I work. And I think the reason why I can do things so quickly is there's no decision making.
No.
So normally when you see people painting or whatever, it's like, oh, should I put it there or should I put it there?
Yeah.
What should I do next? No, there's none of that. It's like, look, this is a secret between me and you and thousands of people. But when I'm in the studio sometimes and I'm making something, I'm making a kind of a bit of a mess, and then I'll tidy up a week later. Yeah. But I'll look on the floor, and there's normally something right near my foot, and I'll pick up the nearest thing to my foot and I'll put it on. Yeah. And that could be So it's like it's like what's kicking around in the dust on the floor? Oh, that'll do. There it goes, and it's perfect.
But you're completely guided, aren't you? Then you're really
completely guided. I'm completely guided, and I've really got into meditation of the last year or so. It's really been a big thing for me, and my life is just switched and just gone into this really wonderful path now. As I said, when I first started out, I was very anti-fashion, very kind of angry with it all, and very angry with the restriction and the construct and the politicization of women's bodies. And I kind of was kind of spitting feathers all the time, you know. I was just really, really raging. And then a big shift happened in my life. I lost my daughter. She chose to die almost 4 years ago, and her partner as well. And after that, I really took a look at life and what life meant and how to live life. And as much as I absolutely miss her every second of every day, for me, it's about a real beautiful gift of come on, Mum, live your life. You only get this one shot. So, well, as far as I know, but she's kind of telling me otherwise. But anyway, that's another. But but in this moment now, let's use it the best way we can use it. Let's be the most beautiful and the most joyous and let's embrace every second of it. Let's live in this now. Let's have all the beautiful smells and the beautiful colors and the gorgeous dog and the lovely clothes and the beautiful people around you and the great food. Even in the midst of a pandemic, enjoy it. Enjoy every moment. And it's that urgency of just be in the joy of it all.
Oh, yes. Yes, sister.
And that is how it is for me. And it's like her passing, her going to another dimension. But there's a reason why I put butterflies and moths on everything. She sent me so many signs that it is absolutely no shadow of a doubt that we do not disappear once we are no longer physical. We are still energy and we are still affecting things.
Yeah.
And so if that mystery is so clear to me, then why not we create our own world? Why not our thoughts create things? Why not that? Why not that? Because after all, we are energy. So I've just hurtled down that path. I don't plan anymore. I just do. And I'm making joy and I trust. I know that there's going to be commissions coming as soon as I finish my last commission.
Yeah.
And that's how it's happening. And only today, I just sent up thanks to the universe to say, thank you for sending me this work in a manner that is doable, that is not giving me stress, that just as I finish one, another two come in, you know?
Yeah.
And it's just the most perfect kind of pace that keeps it beautiful and joyous in the creation. Because imagine if I had too many people knew of me, too many people wanted a bit of it, and I'd be overwhelmed and I wouldn't be able to do it.
Yeah.
So the perfect pace is just so right.
Can I just pick up on a few bits there before we move on? I just want to really honour this path that you've chosen, and also the passing of your beautiful daughter, and what that gift has been to you, and how the lessons that you're alchemizing from that, which is so painful in this human realm. And also, you know, there's so much, there's a rite of passage of actually really living your life.
She taught me surrender, you know? And it was weird because I know this is going to make me sound crazy, but so it is. A few months before she died, I heard, because I hear things, I heard a voice saying surrender, and it was not just saying surrender, it was shouting the word surrender at me.
Wow.
And it wouldn't stop until I acknowledged it. And then I shouted back because it was so loud by this time, it was booming in my head. And I said, okay, I surrender, let what will come, let it come.
Yeah.
Let it come.
Yeah.
And of course I heard the news after that, but my initial response to hearing the news of her death, apart from, I won't say shock, because I almost knew it was coming, and that's odd, but and it was the case of, we all die. Some of us just die a bit quicker than others.
Yeah.
You know? Some of our lives are more intense than others. Her life was surely very intense.
Yeah.
So she packed in so much in a short space of time that it was almost like, okay, she's used up all of her energy for this lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where other people don't engage in life very much at all.
No.
And they kind of diffuse, and they just kind of gently kind of live very gently, little tiny little things going on every now and then.
Yeah.
And they can live right up old age, but no, she lived like a fireworks, and she was like a rocket.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was there's poetry in everything, you know. There's beauty in everything, and there's joy in everything, and there's sorrow in everything, but it's all about the balance, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it's all about finding what serves you.
Yeah. It's such an inspiring message and legacy that you're carrying forth, and especially this dressing, you know, like a queen, because I teach that kind of work, and it's like giving permission to live your life fully today is the biggest blessing. Today, now, and in this moment, how can you find joy? Just do it.
Do it. Take the risk.
Yeah.
One of the things that women always, used to say to me, but they don't say it so much now. Interesting. Say, oh, I love what you wear and I love what you do, but I couldn't wear it because I'm not as brave as you. And I went, you are.
Yeah.
You just haven't tried. Just haven't tried. And the thing is that what people don't understand is, you don't need to have courage to wear it. The clothing gives you courage, because the clothing makes you stand in your power. It's like, here I am. Just try it on, and just try it for size. Just try it on, like in the safety of your room. Waft around the room for a bit. See if it makes you feel any different. If it makes you feel any different, that means you're going to behave differently. You're going to hold your head up a little bit higher.
Yes.
And then when you do that, when you walk outside, then people will then react to you in a way that you're projecting. So if you're feeling insecure in your clothes, if you're feeling small, people will pull out that energy of you, right? So if you for instance if you feel like the clothing is overwhelming you, people will pick that up and they will tease you about it.
Yeah. So
it's a case of match the energy of the clothes, just rise up to it. Say, okay, I can do that. I am a queen, you know. I am a queen for who I am. I am perfect in all my imperfections. I am just who I am. It is that spiritual message of I am. It's God within all of us. We're all aspects of God. So if you embody that, walk out with your head held high, you'll find that the experience of walking down the street is a very beautiful one. I had a wonderful moment, actually. There was a group of very disgruntled teenagers sitting on my corner. I live on an estate in South London. And they're all sitting there in their tracksuits with their hair scraped back. You know, the usual story. Smoking dog in a string situation. And I'm all dressed in kimono, and I have a big thing of flowers in my hair. And it's like just a weekday. And I'm going somewhere. I don't know where it was. I was going to some exhibition opening or something. And, you know, makeup, a lot. I was just feeling and looking like a queen. Anyway, I thought, well, I could take that route past them, or I could walk around the longer way. I thought, oh, sod it, I'm going to walk straight through them. I'm not scared of them. And I walked through them, and as I was kind of walking, I started to hear, you know, the kissing their teeth and, you know, doing their and then the ringleader, the brave girl at the front, she kind of looks at me up and down like this, disapproving. Like, oh, what, you come from carnival or what? And I went, and I looked at her, and I stopped. And I looked at her and I smiled and I went, no, my lovely, I'm an artist. I can dress the way I want to. And I went, hope you have a lovely evening. I'm off now to an exhibition opening. And I wandered off. And as I wandered off, all I could hear was artist, 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 artist. And I was like, I've blown their minds. I've blown their minds. This is good. Give them options of different way of living your life.
Yeah. Yes. And you're embodying that. And I think that is the key with this, with the outer bloom, actually, like you said, actually embodying and walking head high in this queenly presence is going to disrupt. We don't have to say anything. We don't have to say any shoulds
just be it.
Just be it. Yeah.
And also, I think the mistake that people make when they kind of come to me and go, oh, but you know, I don't wear bright colours. That's fine. You tell me who you are.
Yeah.
I don't have to make in bright colours as long as it resonates with exactly who you are. And I will create that image of who you are and I'll put it on your back.
Yes.
You know, so you now are walking down the road with your inside on your outside.
Yes.
You know,
exactly.
So people can read you. People know who you are. People are only reading your good aspects, right? I'm not going to put your weaknesses on the back. I'm going to put your strengths.
Yeah.
And one of the really interesting things that's come to pass through the making of all of this, my clientele is majority female. I do have the occasional man, the awakened straight man, and a few gay men.
Yeah.
And but it's majority women, and I will say, so what? My style is I'll have like a main image and then surround it with a border of stuff, right? So whether it's flowers or whatever it is, imagery, symbols, whatever. So I said, what's your main image going to be? And they'll come up with something very generic, and they'll kind of go, okay, that's lovely if that really resonates with you. But I said, one of my favorite things to do is to put a portrait of the woman on her back, of you. And they go, oh no, I can't do that. I can't do that. And I went, why not? I said,
that's blowing my mind right now.
I think you're beautiful. Do you not think you're beautiful?
Yeah.
Do you not want to have your own back?
Yes.
Are you only perceived through male gaze?
Yeah.
You're not proud of who you are?
Oh, that's so deep. Yeah.
It really changes women's lives. I've had somebody who was very insecure about the way she looked. And then we had this conversation, and then she went, you know what? Sod it. Let's go for it. I want to be Medusa. And then it's like, you did it again. And it's great because, you know, you can, it does not just a portrait. I can create you as a goddess, or create you as Medusa, or I can create you as whoever you want, a lioness, whatever you want to be.
Yeah.
Be it.
Wow.
Be it.
I'm like thinking, I'm already conjuring up my robe, and I'm like, right, I'm going to commission you. Yeah, it's already coming through.
I had one woman, Tig, if you're listening, she is magnificent. I had one woman who had a full naked portrait on her back, on the back of her coat.
Wow.
With surgery scars and all.
Wow.
And it said, over the top, I am enough.
Oh.
Right?
That is everything.
And
that is everything.
That is ultimate armor for me. That is ultimate armor. If you can walk down the road with your vulnerability on your back and go, I am enough, come at me.
Yeah.
You're absolutely indestructible then.
Oh. You're just speaking my language. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
But it's so true. It's because when we own it, then we own it, and that's when the power comes. That's when the power comes. And
it doesn't come from anybody else except you. Yeah. Because if you're looking for approval from other people, then you're giving all your power away.
Exactly.
But you've got to feel it first. It's just words unless you feel it, you know. You can say you've got to love yourself until the cows come home, but if you don't actually feel it, it's taken me till kind of a couple of years ago for me to love myself.
Yeah.
It's taken me a long time. So I don't expect young women to reach this place. If they do, I just think they, you know, I try not to put them on pedestals, but I do. It's like, whoa, you managed to get to the space when you're in your 20s?
But
Who are you?
So many young women I work with in my circles, I think we can get to that place so much quicker than
Expansion,
when,
right?
for me, it's taken years of clawing, going into the shadows, deep work. And actually, I'm finding that a lot more young women are like, oh yeah, got it. Like they're doing it a lot faster.
One of my young friends, I mean, she just turned around, she said it straight. She said, but Diane, I've got you.
Yeah.
She said, I benefit off your shoulders, you know?
Exactly. We're rippling it out.
Exactly. It's expansion.
Yes.
Imagine women in 50 years time, you know.
I know.
The next generation is just going to be incredible.
I know.
And in the times when people are feeling so despondent, I'm just so ridiculously optimistic.
Yeah, me too.
I just think we're heading to a complete different world now.
Yeah, a whole new world, which is
masks
amazing.
Falling.
It is.
Masks are falling. Yeah, the Russian report yesterday. Oh my gosh, that was incredible. Oh, watch it. I don't get involved in politics generally, but I watched that. I even sent it to my daughter. It's like, watch this, please watch this. You will cheer.
I'll have a look. Yeah. I feel like, how does politics relate to your clothing as well? Because I read that, you know, some of the messaging.
It is deeply political. It is deeply political on gender politics, on, you know, just sort of identity politics, as in who are you? Race, obviously race politics as well. I mean, I kind of really, anything patriarchal, you know, it's, you know, class or race or ableism, all these things are the pillars that hold up patriarchy. So by its very nature, my work is deeply political, because I'm trying to turn the patriarchal pyramid upside down. I'm trying to enable Black, disabled, gay women to run the show.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Amazing.
So
and the way you do that, because I've seen your support. You've supported like the friends that you talked about earlier, Laurence, but I've seen your support in the world that's activism as well as as well as your art.
I don't like to sort of call myself an activist, because I think that's performative, you know. There's so much of that at the moment. It's just like, it's what you do. It's what you do. Otherwise we're talking about difference, and we're talking about you're in that camp and I'm in that camp, and we're just going to stay separate. As much as I celebrate difference, as in we are beautifully different and diverse, and so it should be, and that is what beauty is diversity. We are also all the same. There is this oxymoron, right? That we're all different, all the same. But at its deepest level, we're all stardust, as they say. You know, we are all just elements of the earth and the space. So
yes, sister, I feel like I've been zooming in. I've been zooming in, zooming out, because we can get caught into the constructs around activism as well, and it's like, oh, I'm in another box, hang on, let me zoom back out of this.
I try not to sort of do those roles. I just try and be a decent human being, you know. Otherwise it just does become kind of darkly performative, and then it becomes another thing altogether. And
so just going back to your work, what are the kind of women that you've dressed, you know, that have worn your garments? I mean, I know you've done some for people that are on the stage.
I have. My very first, I need to mention her name, because it's kind of how I got into doing this whole thing in the first place. Because when I met this woman, I was a puppeteer. I'd been a children's entertainer for 25 years, and kind of really ignoring my artistic side, for many reasons, sort of deep psychological reasons, mother issues, but let go of those. And then I met this woman called Sue Kreitzman, who is a wonderful outsider artist, older woman. She's early 80s now. She is a New Yorker who lives in East London. Amazing. She's also known as the Queen of Colour. And I met her I think I was crocheting at that point, and I crocheted a little crocheted vulva, I think.
Wow.
And she bought one. And also made a bag with Medusa, Caravaggio's Medusa on, and she bought that. And Medusa has been like my spirit animal, really. It's kind of brought me all the best people. And then she asked me to do a puppet show for one of her birthdays, 75th or something. And I did. And then she handed me this black raincoat. And she said, "Can you do something with this?" And I went away, and she, as she says, I turned it into the Uffizi Gallery. I painted Medusa on it. I painted Frida Kahlo on it. I painted Josephine Baker on it, and goddesses and flowers and skulls, and the whole thing was just insane. I just covered it.
Wow.
And then our journey began. And I started. She wore kimonos made from the Dutch wax, the Ankara fabric. And the person that she was already making stuff for, she'd had a misunderstanding with that, and then so she'd lost that person, and then I sort of just stepped into those shoes by fate. I don't know what it was, but what I was able to do is I was able to bring her own work, because she's an artist herself, so I was able to replicate her paintings and then put them on her back, so she became a walking gallery.
Wow.
So that was a really special thing I could do for Sue.
Yeah.
And she also became my champion. So she became my kind of like my fairy godmother. And you shall go to the ball, Cinderella. You know, she kept calling me genius and this and that and the other, and all these kind of like really supportive words, and kind of blowing smoke up my bottom a little bit. But it was what I needed just to sort of help me believe in myself.
Yeah.
And now I think I'm kind of jumped off the springboard now. I'm fine.
Yeah.
But thank you so much, Sue. She's an amazing woman, and she champions lots and lots of artists and creatives as well. And so she's kind of a real goddess in her own right. So that's Sue Kreitzman, who's quite extraordinary. And I've dressed my biggest target. And I don't know how this happened, but when somebody asked me once, who's the person you really want to get a kimono to? And I went, well, it has to be Jill Scott, because Jill Scott, I absolutely adore. I just think she's the most incredible human being, and she's like the soundtrack of my early 40s. And I just loved her. And I've been to every concert that she'd done in London, and every time I wanted to just walk out the door and follow her, you know.
Yeah.
and she really brought spirit and soul into her music, and kind of was invoking a higher power when she was on stage, and it was just like this woman.
Yeah.
So it was her. It was Jill Scott, and Jill Scott has worn one of my kimonos on stage, and it's like, how did that come to pass? But I spoke it into the universe, and the universe delivered, and I couldn't help but put a little note in the pocket, of the corner of the pocket, and I said, I'm telling her the story, you know, just wrapped it up really small and put it in the corner of the pocket and said, you know, this is the story of this kimono. But I got that kimono to her through a pathway of this amazing band that I love from New Orleans. They're relatively new, called Tank and the Bangas.
Yeah.
Who are extraordinary. Their music it's hard to describe. It's kind of jazzy, soul, a little bit of kind of Disney in there. It's hip hop as well, and it's spoken word poetry that flows over it, and it's incredible. And the first time I saw them on a Tiny Desk concert, and I totally fell in love with them. And the main singer, Tank, who is a larger than life character, she just bubbles joy through her pores. I don't know how she does it, but she does. And I showed my younger daughter, a video of them, and she just went, Mum, she needs a kimono. And I went, you're so damn right. Yes, she does. I looked her up on Instagram, didn't I? And I realized we had something common. We'd both done an interview with the Style Like You platform.
Yeah.
And so I said, oh, Style Like You friend, would you like a kimono? Here's my Instagram page. Have a look, see what you think. And then Tank became a friend. And I've made her quite a few now. I've made her quite a few. And I've made the entire band kimonos.
Oh my goodness.
And they're a big band. And every time I thought I'd finished, she'd go, oh, we've got another musician who wants to jam with us on stage. Could you make them one as well? Like, yeah, okay. Good job, I'm quite fast. Yeah. And then through them, it was a real moment actually seeing them in London and Camden on the stage, all wearing my kimonos. It's like, oh,
wow.
She gave me a shout out as well, which was really nice.
Oh.
But then when they were gigging in Spain, BlackThought of the Roots, them, and then I had this panicked 6 a.m. Instagram message saying, Diane, BlackThought wants to talk to you about a kimono. I was like,
oh my god.
Okay. So I made one for him, and I met him as well when he was in London, and that was another big moment. And it was through BlackThought that I got one to Jill Scott.
That is incredible.
So it was a chain of command, but just making them for people I absolutely adore.
Yeah.
You know, I don't make for people. It sounds terrible, but I can't make for people that I don't vibe with.
Yeah.
It only happened once. I turned down a commission.
Yeah.
Just because it was just becoming difficult and complicated. I said, you know what? I'm going to have to make this difficult call, but I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah.
She got really angry with me, and she wanted to throw more money at me to make me do it. And I said, no, I can't. I just can't.
No, it's got to feel open, hasn't it? And
yeah, it had to feel right. And I think it was because I've learned now, it's a confidence thing for me. I've learned now that people have to trust my method.
Yeah.
And if they have an idea that is too rigid,
yeah,
it won't happen. So I always say to people, you come to me because you like what I do, so you have to trust me.
Trust the magic. Yeah.
Trust the way that I do things. And I'm not going to show you until it's finished.
Yeah.
And that's a big trust thing.
That is, yeah. Yeah.
Because people are paying good money.
Yeah.
And I'm saying, trust me until it's finished. I'm not going to show you, because I learned the hard way that if I show people step by step, they starting to interfere and then push in, and then I lose it all. Then it's gone.
Yeah. No, the feminine has to create from that open space.
From that space.
When the masculine starts to come in and say, actually, no, that there, it's like
control. I'm a 5 rhythms dance, and that kind of like I'm in my flow. Don't come at me with your staccato.
Yeah,
no,
exactly.
No. I'm in the flow. Let me do my flow.
Yeah.
And I might do a bit of chaos in a minute, but I'll get the record at the end, and then I'll be in the stillness. Yes, thank you.
Oh, Diane, what a dream. Just so everything that you touched on holds such a deep sacred, like it's got reverence to it. So everything that you create is coming from the sacred, like it feels it comes from source, and that is such a pure just such a pure place to create from. And also, so there isn't any systems overarching your work. There's no thought. It's just
there's no brain involved.
And what that translates is that the essence can shine through your work, and so the essence of the client can shine through them.
Comes through. And what always happens when people pick things up from me, if they come to me to pick up, they always cry. Happened last night. And it wasn't even it was a present for my client's partner. It's his birthday today. Happy birthday, Alexander. And she was holding it, she was hugging it, and she started to cry. She said, it feels like him.
Oh.
And I went, that's what happens.
That is so special. Yeah. Thank you so much for agreeing to have this conversation. I feel like it's just going to touch so many people, and you are the embodiment of art as adornment. Like what you do, what you stand by, what you create is that art into into outer expression. So thank you so much.
Pleasure. It's been a joy to chat. I mean, I can chat for hours.
Me too. Me too. There's so much more.
Yeah, I'll go on forever.
We'll do a part 2. Yeah.
And I wear something brighter than black or white polka dots. Although I do say sometimes I dress like a drawing and sometimes I dress like a painting.
Yeah. Oh, so, yeah. I love that.
So sometimes that's textural and patterns with black and white.
Yeah.
And other times it's just painting in swathes of colour. It depends on my...
And so how can everybody find your work? Like, what is your links?
Instagram, Facebook, or my website. So it's www.dianegoldieartist.com.
Yeah.
Or it's just at Diane Goldie on Instagram, or it's just Diane Goldie on Facebook. But I'm funny about Facebook requests now. But you can follow me. That's fine.
Yeah.
Because my Facebook is just so... I write a lot on there, so it's a bit more personal. So.
Yeah. Beautiful. And like when you go and see your work, it's just so inspiring. It just kind of ignites something within. So yeah, you're such an amazing artist. Have you ever done an exhibition? Is that
yes, actually, before my daughter passed, I was kind of starting to get a reputation for myself of doing these kind of events where I've got lots and lots of very talented musicians and artists and poets and all different types of people around me. I'm very blessed in that manner. And so I would just put on these kind of multi-art event things where part of it would be a catwalk of clothes, but you know, the instruction would be don't be look moody, dance and do your thing on the catwalk. Do
the pouts.
Don't do the cool dance if you want to, just enjoy the clothes. So yes, I have, and I shall, but lockdown being the way it is, a bit difficult. I was planning on, actually, just as lockdown hit, I was really planning a launch of my deities collection, but that didn't happen.
Wow, so we'll watch out for that.
But I might do it again.
Yeah,
we can gather again, if we can gather again. Yeah,
definitely. It sounds so delicious, all of those artists together. Please do another one.
Oh yeah, I will. And there's also going to be one done around my daughter as well, because I made a tribute collection for her as well, involving, because she was an artist and a musician. Yeah. In fact, we've just made a film about her, which is about to premiere at the Rhode Island International Film Festival, and also the one in Palm Springs, which is the Amdocs Festival.
Yeah.
So it's just called Imogen, and so that's coming out. And so I want to combine, once the film is released, a whole exhibition of her work and the clothes that I made and the film and her music as well, because she was a musician. So, wow. Yeah. Oh, so wow. There's plenty to do.
Yes.
Plenty to do.
But it's all on purpose. You know,
yeah, it's following its path. It's following its path.
Beautiful.
And it'll be when it will be. I am now trusting in divine timing. I'm trying not to push anything at all. Just let it come
with ease. Yes.
Ease with flow. Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
I'm a big fan of Esther Abraham.
Oh yes, yeah. Being in the quantum field, in the vortex, and then letting it all just the magic just happen. Yep. Yeah.
Good old Abraham. Oh, it's daily. I love it because she makes me laugh.
Yeah, me too. Thank you, Diane. I'd love to do this again. We'll do a part 2 further along.
Hey. And when it's all done and I can have people flowing in and out my flat, you can come round for coffee.
I'd love that.
Or a glass of wine. I don't drink wine, but you can have wine.
I don't drink wine either.
There you go. Tequila. Sorry.
We're on the tea.
On the tea, yes.
So I'm going to stop now.